Yeah. Okay, all right. So it's early in the morning, or, late at night, or early in the morning, or whatever time. I don't care what time it is. Now, here's the principles understanding. When I was young, there was a clock that rang 37 times, when it was 12 noon or whatever. And the clock was beautiful. I mean, it was priceless. But it liked to ding its bell a lot. A lot. So it would ring. It was supposed to ring a set amount of times, for the hour, and 37 times or whatever. It was kept special just because it was awkward, German clock. It was beautiful. It was all that. Not a cuckoo clock, of course. I did possess a cuckoo clock, and Susan has that, and I gave it back to her. I traded some artwork, no, some beautiful women to Susan for a cuckoo clock, and then gave her the cuckoo clock back because, of course, I couldn't keep it pristine. It was just awesome, and it's a pile of junk anyway, so whatever. My mother's, it's not my mother's, so it's garbage to her, and, she'll have her way when she can. Even they say and AR in them. I carved the initials and wrote it in lipstick. AR on the bottom of the candlesticks. They were definitely at a stage of Romanovs, of course. I'm pretty sure that. I couldn't care less, but whatever. At all, really. That would be Trotsky, of course. Anyhow, moral of the story. So now I go to the emergency room because, I am a patient girl. Very patient, very precocious, very patient. The timing is good. I go to the emergency room and they say, "You're a badass man." And they admit me to the psychiatric ward, and I think, well, there's a reason not to go to the emergency room, and they got me there. No hesitation for that at all. But, oops, whatever. I'd rather be dead, thank you. Let's, keep that depression thing going. I moved from Wisconsin, USA, where the bus comes every hour, and it's dark and, kind of barren, flat land, and like a big ship on a still ocean, but, people, what they got. The Packers won. Yeah, okay. And not only that, but front headline news. You watch the game and the Packers won, and then the next day, noon, you read the newspaper and it's like, oh, the Packers won. It's like, wow, morning has broken. Of course, that's what they got. So anyway, and prejudice aside, the first black woman, you run up to her and you grab your pencil or your pen and a piece of paper, and which Packer wife are you? Please sign this. Prejudiced, of course. Very prejudiced. Anyhow, I moved from Wisconsin to the city of Toronto. I'm not depressed anymore. Depression is four-dimensional, and it's not like walking along and falling into a hole and crawling out. In Wisconsin, there are people who are depressed. They need options, like, would you like to go to the bar tonight to drink beer? Or would you like to sleep all night and all day tomorrow? Or would you like to, if someone's going to make money off of this one, would you like to watch your favorite comedy television program or what, whatever. Do artwork and sell it, of course, and make money. Duh. Anyway, so 3 is a good number to combat the 4, which is a number. But anyway, 3 options, and one of the ways I dispelled my death sentence in Wisconsin was that I would give myself as many options as I could. 3 is a good number. And I'm not depressed here because of the electricity. So, Neil Young, our Lord, our Master, our fucking the God of all depression. I mean, when depressed, it's okay because Neil Young is the ultimate glory, of course. So, if he moved to Toronto, lived in a hotel or not, or, had a house and lived in Toronto for 2 weeks on a regular basis or not, he'd be fine, or much less depressed, or, for me, depression is very real, and is still very real, but doesn't exist for me. And then I can be a pain study as well, and more studies, of course. Just because. Now, let me give you a clue. There was a man, and I met him, and he was quite a man. Maybe I'll trade in my man for man, which is redundant, I really don't make choices like that, but would you like to offer me a really gaudy ring to marriage, or would you like to also offer me a priceless new school ring, of course, and then tell me it's okay because I'm a cripple and I'll have the jeweler make something for you and then it will be okay. And see what happens, of course. Anyhow, see what happens, eh? The answer is no all the time, anyway. But, this man had a broken hip, but nobody wanted to give him pain medication, or, it was more glorious to study pain. And he one-upped me as well. I'm not really there, but I am. I'm addicted to pain, for sure. Or can be. But he had dental surgery. Yes, his teeth were less sturdy than mine, or had constitutional soundness, like constitution, like physical constitution, less soundness, and that his teeth were bacterial-ridden and near his brain and his tonsils, and that they were to be removed, and he said no Novocaine. And the dentist did it, of course. Ha ha ha, well, whatever. Spite and malice, anyway. That, and then he came back, and I'm sure he did or didn't ask for, Tylenol, of course. Because, he would have been refused. They told me when I had dental surgery, we won't give you Tylenol because, of course, you might chew on it. Eh? Why are you laughing? Because I'm in that much pain. Whatever. I have a good sense of humor. I didn't ask for this, and, what happens is that somebody is brain damaged, so brain damaged that she will never function outside of a hospital setting, or a hospital setting would be nice, but in prison or whatever, that she consistently asked the psychiatrist for help, and he had an ECT, an electric shock treatment, and that's the end of post-traumatic stress. It's called a lobotomy, and it's simple, and you go and you get maybe 2 or even 1 ECT, and the world is overpopulated, and everybody's lining up to beat down the doors of the doctors so that they can establish community treatment orders and get back to work and flourish their pens and write more prescriptions and make more money, of course. Anyhow, of course, you benefit by brain damage or lobotomies, which I wouldn't do myself personally and haven't had to, and am in line for that because I said that anyway, that but they have decided not to erase my brain. That this woman cannot recognize me, that she and I are good friends, and that she cannot recognize me until they work her up to a state where she can, and then she gets ECT because it's a game to them. The best part about having a body and, having done the work and the research is just having toys to fucking abuse people or kill people or, spend effort doing as much harm as possible as the psychiatrist Dr. Diaz. And he is anal retentive. I said that. Well, anyway, I am thinking about her, which is probably bad for her, but that's just the way it is. The golden opportunity for my mother would have been that I would not recognize her, and then she would have her moments of glory, and then everything would be easy peasy breezy for her, and I did not have to do that yet, or whatever, and everyone who's anyone knows that anyway. Nothing personal at all, but it is uncomfortable not knowing who people are and having people tell you that they know who you are, but you don't know who they are. Maybe this is Alzheimer's technique, useful purpose, and these people, the human garbage, with in due respect to the people who get off on the mental health care, have a lobotomy, go for it. Enjoy, whatever. You're useless, you're a wasted piece of shit. I'm not joking. You live in a world where you are a provider or not. You must get to work. If you don't maintain your job, then you lose everything. You're using somebody's life. So, in deference and respect to God, you're not a worthless piece of shit. Ever, really. But, you shouldn't be thanking the psychiatrist. You shouldn't be sending money to CAMH to tell them how great they are. That money that you earn, they just want more money. They want another vacation home and bank accounts for their children. And they do the same to you. If they could find a reason to lock you up and torture you and do you as much harm as they can until you're dead, they would. Psychiatrists. So you get what you pay for. I had thought, because I'm really smart, inventions, anything, I did think that. I'm going back to ancient history now. And the other Facebook account, 1454.